How's your Achilles feeling?
I feel good. All the hard work and all the dedication ended up paying off. I feel like I'm back. I've ran the fastest I've ran since I've been a Bronco. I clocked 21.3 miles an hour, so I feel really good. I'm looking forward to the season.
Anybody out there other than guys that play professional football run 21.3 miles per hour? Liar. Liar. I know how fast you run. All right, I'll move down. Chris, you got a deal done in the offseason. You continue to be one of the mainstays of this defense. Sort of walk us through that process, and how do you look at this upcoming year from a personal standpoint?
It's definitely a long year, but I feel good. Comfortable with the coaches and everything that they got me doing, and it's a lot to learn, but every day is getting better and better, and we're getting on the same page, and I feel very confident about this year.
I'm going to stay with you for a minute. How different, from a schematic standpoint, how different is what you're dealing with this year?
A lot of it's a little similar. It's little tweaks depending on what routes and formations I get, and I got a lot of Coach Fangio's calls. It's kind of like opposite of what I did last year, so he'll give us a call, and then I'll be thinking in my head, like, this is a call I had to do a different technique last year, but it's starting to slow down for me. It's getting better.
Before I go to Joe, I'm going to ask Emmanuel the same question. New offense. How different for you is it, even a guy who's played a long time?
I think we're definitely going to attack people differently. We're going to be more condensed in terms of wide splits or tight splits. So I'm looking forward to it. I think Rich Scranzi, our offensive coordinator, he's bringing in a system in which Atlanta ran and San Francisco ran, and I think they ran it too when they were winning the Super Bowl. So I'm looking forward to that. It's going to be predicated off the play action. We got a new quarterback, so I'm excited about that.
Right on cue, Joe, welcome to Denver. What's been a couple of the biggest transition points for you?
Well, it's the first time I've been on a new team in the NFL, and I think the first time you walk into the building and you're looking for a seat in the cafeteria after you order your eggs or whatever, you're not really quite sure where to sit. So I think that's the first kind of hurdle to get over, is to kind of meet some of the guys and develop a relationship with them. I mean, you've been one place 11 years and you've developed relationships with a bunch of people, and now you have to go to a new place where you don't really know anybody. And I think you realize pretty quickly that this was an awesome group of guys, and they kind of welcomed me right from the beginning, and at least I felt that way. So that was a big step for me, and then it was just getting out in the field and starting to play.
A similar question that I asked Emmanuel. I mean, from a scheme standpoint, for a quarterback, obviously that's pretty important. You know what you're running and sort of embrace it. How's that transition gone?
It's been good. I ran a similar, at least in terms of some of the terminology, ran a similar system in 2014. This is probably a little bit updated. Felt very comfortable with it. I know what the expectations are from myself. I think you're able to kind of go through things quickly and move on from certain guys. Emmanuel might be a little bit mad about that. He wants me to kind of hone in on him every single route, but hey, no, it's been great. I've had a blast learning the offense, and I've had a blast going out there and running it with these guys.
Some things change in pro football over the course of time. Some things don't. Wide receivers always want the ball. That's just the way it is. Bradley, your second season with the Broncos. What 2 or 3 things seem different to you this year?
I know a lot of people just excited to get back on the field. I know these guys been to the Super Bowl, won Super Bowls, and the past 2 years haven't been cutting it with the record and stuff like that. So I just feel like the sense of urgency has increased from last year to this year. Everybody's, wanting to get back on that winning track. Everybody's feeling good. And I feel like if we just keep doing that, everybody stays on the same page, it's going to be good for us this year.
You had a heck of a rookie season. You had 12 sacks. I mean, were there a couple of things in the offseason that you said, hey, I want to work, I want to get better and see my game improve in this area and that area, or does it work like that?
Yeah, I wanted to see my game improve in a whole bunch of areas. I felt like last year wasn't like the best film I could have put out there, and I just wanted to better myself, whether it be my conditioning, whether it be my moves, whatever it could be. I just wanted to get better and just do whatever I could to help the team win. I know one thing I worked on heavily in the offseason is just this cross chop, the pass rush move. So I got with Von with it in the offseason as well. So we just talked about it as much as we could, and starting to read no offense is better, so it can help me be a faster player, a better player, and I feel like it's going to help me out.
You didn't know I was going to say this, but we're going to have a cross chop exhibition for some of the people out here to teach them how to, and husbands, wives, cross chop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're going to need Coach Staley. We're going to need Von. We might need some old linemen out here. So, yeah.
We can do that. Von, you have 98 career sacks in the regular season, 2 away from 100. How does a guy that has achieved as much as you have, how do you continue to push yourself to raise your game even to a different level?
I think the teammates that I've been around, that's just the standard that they set. Being teammates with DeMarcus and Elvis Dumerville, they were always trying to get better. DeMarcus was always trying to get better, always trying to find new moves, new ways to attack offenses, and I try to do the same. We've all seen what that has done with DeMarcus's career and his legacy, and I want the same for me. Just try to get better. Like Chubb said, we worked on all type of stuff this offseason to try to get better, to be a better pass rusher. Chubb is being humble. He's being humble right now. He's a totally different player than what he was last year. You won't even notice the guy. He's going to have the same jersey number on, but he's going to look totally different. He's been working on a lot of stuff, and I'm excited for him.
You know, and I'll ask you a similar question. I mean, it is a new scheme. Coach Fangio and Coach Donatel, they bring this to Denver. You obviously have seen film with Chicago. I mean, how do you see yourself with your skill set sort of fitting into this scheme?
It's definitely a great defense. Coach Fangio has had a great track record with all type of players, including pass rushers. He's coached a lot of my buddies from, Alden Smith, Khalil Mack. He's had success with all these guys, and me and Chubb, we want to be his best product. He's had success with all these guys, and we just listen to him. Whether it's simple techniques or changing our whole game, whatever he wants us to do to be great, we'll do it.
We'll start back with Emmanuel. One more question for each guy here as we then we'll wrap it up and let these guys and coaches go. I want to ask you, when you have a serious injury, and I mean, people don't get a chance to see players what they go through when they're trying to rehab. What did you, if anything, what did you encounter in this rehab with respect to an Achilles tendon tear? What did you encounter that maybe you didn't expect? Or what 2 or 3 things do you think back of this long journey and it sort of resonates with you?
I think obviously when it occurred, you could have attacked it 2 ways, either negatively or positively. But for me, I attacked it positively. I said, you know what, it happened, and what am I going to do to get back on the field? I know there's a lot of questions in terms of, will I be back to myself, or will my speed be the same? But I always told myself, you know what, attack every single day with a positive manner. I think the trainers did a great job of creating a program for me to be successful, and I just attacked that program. And so I think that's the reason why I was able to get back and be back with my teammates.
Chris, talk a little bit about, and I've talked with you about this, your journey, college free agent, you come in undrafted and you carve out a really nice NFL career, Pro Bowls, All-Pro status, and yet you always talk about that chip continuing to be on your shoulder and something that's going to be there for your entire career.
Oh yeah, as an undrafted player, I always feel like they're always waiting for you to fall off and always waiting to see, oh, this is why you weren't drafted. And as an undrafted guy, you got to always be hungry, always be ready to compete and battle. And I think just my competitive nature, I always wanted to win. I think that's what kept me in the league.
Joe, the quarterback spot is in and of itself a spot of leadership. You know, we talked a little bit in training camp about this, but I want you to talk about just generally how you view being a leader as a quarterback on a team that you're just still getting familiar with.
Well, yeah, I think I told you back then, I'm naturally a guy that's going to lead by example. I'm not going to be the most vocal in terms of the rah-rah type stuff before the game and all that, jazz. But I think as a leader, you have to prove from an early point that you can play or you can do whatever you're doing that you're trying to accomplish as a team. And in my case, it's play quarterback. It's play football. Everybody has to be able to see that the guy that's leading this team can play and has to believe that when they look at me, man, we can win a Super Bowl with this guy. If you can get people to kind of see that and believe it, well, then it can just take off. I think great leaders, the team definitely kind of takes on a little bit of that personality, and they get in a little groove and they go. So that was my main goal when I first came in here, was to develop relationships with guys so that they can trust me, and then prove to them that I can play this game at a high level.
Good enough. Bradley, North Carolina State, when you were there looking at some of the, I'm assuming you looked at some of the elite pass rushers, were there 2 or 3 guys that you looked at and said either, hey, I can model my game after them, or I sort of fit that look? I mean, were there guys that you looked at in the league when you were at North Carolina State?
Yeah, of course, I mean, Mario Williams, I had the jersey patch on at NC State because of the number 9. Manny Lawson, all those guys. Just seeing what they did. My coach played with them. My strength coach had played with them, and he used to tell me everything about them, how they operated, how they went about their days, and how they attacked the practice field, the game field. And that's just one thing I just tried to implement on NC State and in my own legacy. Just be the best player I could be every day, be like those guys. And I feel like it worked out for me. Got to NFL. I just got to keep doing my thing now.
And Von, finally, last question. Bradley talking about you guys up here have all been to Super Bowls and have all won Super Bowls. When you look at this team this year, and you clearly are one of the leaders of the team, I mean, how do you, right now, today, how do you see this team?
I think we have a great team. We got a great quarterback, great receivers. Our offensive line has definitely got better. Gary Bowles is developing as well. We got Juwan James, one of the best right tackles in the league. The interior guys from Connor McGovern and Leary and all those guys, they've definitely got better as well. Our defense is solid. Me and Wolf, this is going on our 8th year. It's like this ain't Remember the Titans. It's like Julius and Bertier, me and him. So I love that guy. We always talk about left side, strong side. We like to go in the mix. But, we've gelled. We've definitely we got a great corner named Kareem Jackson. We've got great corners with Chris Harris and all those guys as well. We got a great team. We've upgraded. We all believe in Coach Fangio's scheme. We got great coaches and great players. And great coaches and great players, they usually lead to wins. When we won the Super Bowl in 2015, I always felt like, every single year at this time, I've always felt like, dang, we got a team that we can win the Super Bowl, and that year was no different. We just played. I think we won 9 games within 3 points or less, and we didn't win a game like, okay, now we're gonna win the Super Bowl. We just chipped away at it, and boom, we ended up at the Super Bowl. We played and we won it. So I think we have that same vibe here. We just got to take it one play at a time, 1 week at a time, continue to make plays, do our jobs, trust one another, and we'll be all right.
Okay. 5 guys that you're going to be seeing and hearing a lot of this year. Nice round of applause for these 5 guys.